Now, when students come here, and some of the students that I've talked to, especially those in the sciences, they seem to have the idea that they have to make a choice, okay? They have to make a choice between the study of science and their Christian beliefs. Can you respond to that?
I can identify with that tension because I felt it myself when I was studying science in undergrad. I came to a point where it felt as though I either had to choose to believe what I saw as the physical evidence in front of me, or I had to believe what I saw as what the scriptures was saying. And I didn't think they could both be true. Eventually, though, I came to realize that tension, or actually, I would say it's stronger, the conflict between science and Christian faith is not fundamental to the study of either. We have to recognize that God reveals himself to us in many different ways.
So what as a Christian actually takes you into this arena of science? I mean, you enjoy it, I know that, but do you see anything more than just your sense of wonder or enjoyment? You don't have to be a Christian to have that.
I think that as a Christian, we actually need to recognize that there's a responsibility for us to learn as much about the natural world as we can.
You're going to have to explain that.
Just as we have a responsibility to access what God has revealed to us through Scripture. Nature also reveals things about God, and in addition, Scripture tells us that we ought to study nature.
Okay.
Because one of God's first commandments to Adam was to have dominion over his creation, and we recognize that doesn't mean just go out and use it up. It's bringing fruitfulness, or bringing it to fruitfulness, I guess you would say.
Which is one of the criticisms that theology, and one of the suspicions it tends to have of the sciences, is like, yeah, you say you're exercising dominion, you're finding resources, you're finding new ways to use those, you're increasing the productivity of food, you're helping to overcome disease, and these are goods, but in and of themselves, it can just lead to incredible consumption and the destruction of ecosystems. Science set wild can tend to go in that direction. So there's something more to dominion than just that, right?
Unfortunately, sometimes Christians see that scripture that says, have dominion, and say, okay, that gives me the right to do whatever I want. And I say, no, it doesn't. God has made us caretakers of his creation. As caretakers of God's creation, we are responsible to use it wisely. But another way we do it is by mitigating the effects of the curse. So disease, famine, these are all effects of the curse. And by using our study of the natural world and learning how to do things, whether with medicine or with agriculture, we're helping to mitigate some of those effects. Now, we're not trying to return to the Garden of Eden. That doesn't come until the resurrection.
The science becomes a means of participating with or cooperating with the activity that God's actually doing himself. The pushing back of disease, of suffering, of actually helping the vulnerable, that's something that science can do as well.
I think that as Christians, we ought not be hiding from science in fear. Rather, we need to be bringing a sense of the transcendent to the study of science and saying, here's truth revealed to us in the physical creation, and we are trying to figure out what it's saying. Just as when I open my scripture, I ask, what is God saying to me here? We need to be doing the same thing with the study of science.